make sure that we get credit for being here today. For those of you that have a cell phone, which should be 100% of you, please hold up your cell phone. Go to the App Store if you don't already have the 1 Million Cups app. Download the 1 Million Cups app, and then click the check-in button if you don't mind. We have the instructions up here. The instructions are actually for me because I needed how to log into my app for dummies. So please check in so we can get credit for you. John Foster, please say something real quick so they can see the cool shirt that you have.
Oh, right here, right here.
Yeah. When you check in and we get credit for you and we get to get cool shirts like these to hand out to our presenters. And these shirts go to our presenters when they present, but you do have to show up to Office Evolution to pick it up. And we don't have the funds to mail it to you. However, if you stop by Office Evolution, you can get your beautiful cup, beautiful shirt. Next slide. 1 Million Cups is a mastermind group for entrepreneurs to share any issue, opportunity, or challenge, or just ask a question that can help them grow their business. We're about entrepreneurship, community, and education. Next slide. Our mission. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States, like those of you on the call. Next slide. Our pillars. We do presentations, not pitches, authentic connections, not networking, and we'll run for the community and by the community. Our culture. Let's be very clear here. We are a safe and supportive culture here. We want to make sure that our presenter gets answers to the question that he asked. There will be no sharpshooting. We don't only have questions that can support our presenter. 1 Million Cups is co-owned by all who show up and support. And we are volunteer-led, and we fuel your presenters' pipeline together as a community. So what that's saying is that not only can you come and support, but you could also be a presenter. It doesn't take much. All you have to do is go to our website, 1millioncups.com/Fairfax, and apply to present. I want to make it absolutely clear. We are recording this and you are Facebook Live right now on our 1 Million Cups Facebook page, but you can also join our community in several different ways. Like I said, we're live right now. We're also on Zoom as you logged into it this morning. Please, if you haven't done so already, put your name, your business name, and how we can reach you in the chat, as well as any feedback to our presenter. Also, if you're in our Facebook, on our Facebook page, please go to our Facebook page and share our live with your community so they can see the awesomeness that we have going on today. And then we also communicate with our presenters and people that are joining us on a weekly basis through email. Next slide. These are our awesome organizers. I'll start off by introducing myself. My name is Donnell Johns. I'm the CEO and founder of Veterans Grow America. We also have Miss Jen Dalton. Is Jen here today?
No.
No.
If she's not, she's with Brand Mirror. We also have Tony Barnett, and I'll let Mayosha go.
Good morning. This is Mayosha with the T Center. I'm excited to be here and support all the new entrepreneurs.
John Yu.
Good morning, and I'm John Yu with Office Evolution. I love being part of the organizer of 1 Million Cups Fairfax chapter. Thank you, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Melinda?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Melinda Sigel, and I'm behind the slides right now, and I will be facilitating the conversation later. I want to welcome everybody here. This is my favorite group that just gets me inspired all week and keeps me going.
Hey, John Rutenberg, cccsolutions.com. Every week as I attend 1 Million Cups, I learn a new idea from the great people who attend these meetings. Thank you.
We also have Miss Renetta Jones, who's not on the call with us this morning, but she's the CEO and founder of Extraordinary Solutions, and she's also a founding member of Veterans Grow America.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rosemary Savino with Gravitate. I'm excited to see y'all today, and I'm more excited to hear from Andrew today about PodFest Expo.
You know what's so cool about that is that Andrew, you helped out Andrew do his presentation today, so I'm looking forward to what he has to offer. Next slide. And we want to thank our organizers. Our organizers are all volunteer-led, and we also have a volunteer-led group of ambassadors that share the love of 1 Million Cups with their community. I heard we had Dan on the line. Dan, can you introduce yourself?
He was having trouble unmuting, and I don't see him anymore in the meeting.
Okay. Do we have Gresham? I know we have John with that nice shirt on.
John
There
is
we go. Yep. Nope. I'm unmuted now. Took a quick press of the button. Nope. Glad to be here. Yep. 1 Million Cups. Love Wednesday mornings. I'm an ambassador for Green Fair. We're all about healthy people, healthy planet. Awesome to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Sarah?
Doesn't look like she's here today.
All right. And we also have Reggie and Lisa as our ambassadors. Thank you guys
Reggie's
for
here.
everything that you do. Oh, Reggie's here? Oh, all right. I didn't want to skip you, Reggie. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'm sorry,
Reggie Holmes, Reggie Holmes, Enthuse Creative. Happy to be a part of the ambassador group, and always eager to come and learn from some of the best and brightest with their latest ideas. So thanks.
This one is going to be a good one for you. It's talking about podcasts, so can't wait to hear about it. All right, our sponsors, our space sponsor is Office Evolution. John, you have someone?
Great. Thanks, Anel. Yeah, so we're a co-working space located here in Tyson's Corner. Andrew, if you're able to fly, stop by here. I'll be happy to give you an awesome t-shirt of 1 Million Cups that John showed you. But anyway, so we provide fully furnished private office as well as a virtual office space for business owners. We're located in Tyson's Corner, and we look forward for us to gather in person so we could all share a cup of coffee that John Rutenberg could be providing us with. John.
Yes. So I am the coffee sponsor for the month of October, and it's my honor. Hey, at CCC Solutions, we help our clients overcome follow-up fatigue. FUF is a great acronym. Think about it, follow-up fatigue. There are many manual tasks that you do when you're marketing and selling. We automate those tasks, freeing up your time. Our clients save 8 hours a week utilizing our marketing strategies and contact management software. Thank you.
Puff. All right, that is beautiful. Thank you, John, and thank you, John. All right, how our meetings work. So please, if you're not muted already, please mute your microphone. To ask a question and participate in the discussion, please use the wave hand icon. The mediator will call on your name. Please unmute your microphone, ask your question, and then please put your microphone back on mute. And that way we can have an amazing discussion today and get to as many people as possible. Next slide. All right. Without further ado, we're going to introduce Podcast Expo. We can't wait to hear from you. The show and the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Welcome everyone. My name is Andrew Weiss, and today I'm going to be talking about PodFest and talking about how our goal is to make it future-proof and be a wonderful resource for communities around the world. So the challenge question I have today is, how can we continue to bring in the best teachers to drive more attendees and sponsors to create the best events possible? So I wanted to put that question in now. Next slide. And the problem that we're solving is a lot of people, when they attend events, they hear from speakers who talk, but don't actually say anything. Classic example is you hear a speaker say, I'm going to tell you the 3 ways to build your email list. And then they spend the whole presentation either A, just talking about themselves, or B, talking about why email list growth is important without actually giving actionable, tangible advice. And so the idea for PodFest began in 2013 when Chris Krimitsos, our founder, decided, you know what, I want to have a way for communities of podcasters to come together, serve each other, and also make sure we bring in the best content to drive attendees and sponsors. Next slide. So here's just a quick example of one of our educators providing actionable, tangible content. She talked about effective list building strategies. She talked about a case study. She talked about why you should consider running ads. And she did a good job providing actionable, tangible content, which is something that's a big theme at our events. Next slide. And here's our founder, Chris Krimitsos, that after visiting 1 Million Cups, he really takes that 1 Million Cups philosophy of wanting to make sure that everyone's helping each other, serving each other, and really making sure they're a resource for each other however they can. Next slide. So quick context. So yeah, as you saw from that previous slide, in 2013, we only had 13 people attend. In 2018, we were able to grow up to 500 people. In 2020, we were able to grow up to 2,000 people. And then you know what happened. And so one of the things we need help with today is figuring out how to actually navigate the virtual landscape. And we figured out that we wanted to go full-time virtual. And when the you know what happened in 2020, we wanted to bring people around the world together. And we figured, you know what, everyone's stuck at home. Let's see if we can break a Guinness World Record. Next slide. And so by knowing everyone was at home, we were able to bring in over 5,000 people virtually, had over 300 speakers coming together to teach about online course creation, book publishing, podcast monetization, email list growth. We had a mental health con, we had a communication con, we had a speakers con, all these little mini conferences within our event. And by being able to bring 5,000 people together, next slide. We did it. We were able to set a Guinness World Record for world's largest virtual podcasting event. And so that's been exciting about the new version of our business, is being able to take that virtual side of things to become hybrid and really make sure that no matter what comes our way, we can still survive as a business and as an organization, constantly serving others. Next slide. So why sponsors choose us? So sponsors are our main source of revenue for our events. Ticket sales are helpful, but they don't compare into the money that we're able to bring in for sponsors. And the reason why sponsors choose us is because we're able to focus on their target market. Classic example, one of our top podcasters in our community, he's called Glenn the Geek, and he runs the Horse Radio Network, or Horse Podcast Network. And as a sponsor, yes, you can go ahead and spend $15,000, $20,000 on a local TV advertisement and try and get in front of who knows who. Or you can, if you're a sponsor that, let's say, for example, sells horse feed, why not put that $15,000 to $20,000 towards this horse radio network, where you know the audience is people who either loves horses, they own horses, they want to own horses, and they're much more likely to want to buy your product. So this is why it's a benefit for sponsors to sponsor our events, is because they can get in front of specific podcasters who need their products, who need their services, and specific audiences who will want to buy from them. We also provide white glove customer service. We've heard too many horror stories about sponsors who will sponsor an event and they'll pay for all the food, and then they won't even be allowed to eat the food at that same event. And so we really do our best to make sure to treat our sponsors like attendees, make them feel like part of the community, help them as much as possible, because we, of course, want them to return. And we also want to make it a win-win whenever we can. So whether a sponsor wants more email exposure, whether they want to hand out swag, whether they want to have a platform to give away giveaways, we want to make sure that sponsors are always benefiting from our events. Next slide. So our competitor, we like to say collaboration over competition, but with that said, it is business and there is competition out there. So our main competition is Podcast Movement. They are a little bit bigger than us. And we'd say that we have that cutting edge in the sense of we're able to focus on topics versus big names. So they might say keynoted by Mark Cuban, for example, but we will say, here are 3 ways to grow your Instagram following by 10,000 followers in 30 days or less. So we go more for the topic versus just the big name speakers. We also love the cycle of our attendees who come to our events. They have a higher chance of becoming speakers if they have proof of showing expertise in their topic, if they have a decent social media following, and if we're confident that they know what they're talking about and can present in a powerful way. And we just really pride ourselves on bringing in the best education and content to once again bring in attendees and sponsors. Next slide. So our target market, definitely podcasters, as we are called PodFest. We also have a sister company called VidFest to help reach out to YouTube and video creators. And then because our topics are focused on email list growth, monetization, email and online course creation, we do love helping other entrepreneurs to grow their brand and monetize it better as well. Next slide. And here's just quick examples of testimonials we've gotten. This guy's name's Alex with Comic Crusaders. He's like, woo, whippa, as he likes to say. He's all excited to see us. Next slide. And then we have Kristen here, who was able to get a sponsor immediately from attending our talks at our events, just to kind of show the benefits of being able to attend our content and actually taking action on it and making sure people receive the best information. Next slide. So that concludes our presentation today. And once again, I want to ask, what your suggestions are, how we can continue to bring in the best educators and teachers to drive more attendees and sponsors. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna pass this over to Melinda to be the MC.
Great. I want to go over the ground rules a little bit, just so everybody knows. When you ask your question, keep it short and just ask one question so we can get as many people to ask questions as possible. If you have questions to ask, raise your hands with the emoji to do that, and or put it in the text. I'm going to put up right now, and I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but I'm putting the chat up so that I can see if somebody's got their hands raised, and I'm putting up the participants so I can see if somebody's hands are raised. Outstanding presentation, Andrew. I see Rosemary has a question, but I want to ask a quick question for you, because I had a brilliant idea in the middle of that when you said next slide, because I was busy writing it down. You're looking at ways to enhance and do different things. So I was thinking that you might want to put together kind of a matchmaker service for your podcasters and sponsorships. And that would be a natural to extend your business. I don't know what you call it. I just decided to call it a matchmaker service because it's kind of cute and catchy. But a lot of companies are looking for spokespeople. And what a great place to come to see everybody that is. And it's a way you can promote your podcast. You could even do an event where come listen to our podcasters and find your spokesperson, something that might give you some enhancement for that. And with that, you could also add a speakers bureau as part of what you're doing too. So that would almost be another organic way to grow your business and continue being in front of everybody's faces for podcasts. And with that, Rosemary, your turn.
Hey, Andrew, great job. Thanks for walking us through the business. Just from talking with you before the meeting, I understand that your business is all about helping podcasters really grow their own businesses, right? Mm-hmm. So my question for you, and then I'll follow up with a couple of suggestions, is how are you currently getting your best teachers? Are they referrals? Are you finding them from somewhere? How are you getting them today?
Yeah, currently we have an email list of about 15,000 people. We have a Facebook group of about 5,000 people. So that's our main way to get them, is we do a call for speakers on that Facebook group and email list, and we usually get a couple hundred applications. And then of course, sometimes we get referrals too, where people pass along the speaking application to others as well. So that's our main source at the moment, is referrals and our call for speakers on our Facebook and email.
Okay, awesome. So I love Melinda's idea of a kind of speakers bureau approach to it. I also recommend that you reach out to the speakers that you think have been the most impactful and create sort of an ambassadors group. We have one here for 1 Million Cups for our Fairfax community, and see if they're willing to help you to actually put together a group of high impact teachers that they know, that they think are really good. So you can already trust their opinion because you know that they're already good. So I'll put it in the chat. But great job, great presentation. Thanks.
Thank you.
Reggie, you've got a question.
Yes, thanks, Andrew, for the presentation. Very exciting to hear about how you've grown and what you're doing. I am part of a Facebook group that is devoted to podcasting, and people can request guests and also offer themselves as guests. And this group has the most engagement of any group that I'm in. But they have like 25,000 people in this group. So I'm gonna drop the link in the chat, but I would definitely connect with that group. There's, like I said, there's a lot of engagement, and they've taken a lot of the activity offline. So it's like a community that started there, and of course everything sort of happens in the group, but there's a whole nother part of it where it's even more vetted and sort of more, they do a lot more to sort of than they can offer through Facebook. So I would definitely say connect with that Facebook group.
Yeah, please put that link in the chat. It sounds great.
Kenneth, you're next.
Good morning. Good morning. Andrew, we spoke before when you were trying to get into the Loudon 1 Million Cups. I'm glad to see you here and to hear your story. You had mentioned that one of your big problems was speaker quality, that you would have speakers that were not up to snuff, at the very least, not up to your standards for your audience. And so that seems to me to be related to the process that you use for bringing in speakers and preparing them for the podium. Can you talk a little bit more about what you're doing? The question is, are you using videos of your speakers or audios of your speakers to actually hear their presentations or segments of their presentations before you wave them through to a podium slot?
Ooh, that's a good point, actually. Yes, when we have people apply to our events, we have put in their podcast link or branding link. But maybe that would be more helpful to have them do a video submission, just to show that they know how to present on camera, know what they're talking about, and be able to filter them that way. Yeah, I know that'd be tricky with so for PodFest Global, that was our big Guinness World Record breaking event. We had 400 plus submissions. But we have been growing our speaking team to be able to sort through that. But that's a good point, is that maybe looking into having video submissions versus just listening to their podcast and looking at their branding kind of thing.
Well, because you're asking them to do something very different than their podcasts, and you have particular criteria that you want them to hit, and so you need to be able to communicate those values and check that there's a high probability they'll deliver. So great stuff. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Rosemary, you've got another question.
I just thought of something when Ken was speaking. Andrew, have you guys mined your local TEDx? Do you have somebody who's just sort of trolling through TED and TEDx. I'm thinking TEDx just because it's more local and you'll probably have access to more of the TEDx speakers. They're used to doing in-person and video engaging speeches for a very short period of time. And it might be a good way for, I'll say non-organic growth, but net new speakers to be found, especially in places where you're going to be local and in person. So I'll put it in the chat, but.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they have to vet speakers as well. So yeah, maybe doing some kind of partnership or at least collaborating with the local organizers. That's a good idea too. Yeah.
I've got a quick question for you too, another idea. Have you ever thought about picking maybe 10 cities in the country and having an open day where people come in and they try out, and maybe it's a day that you also offer training with classes there, so you can get people to sign up so that they can improve and hone in on their skills, and then have trials where you can sign some of these folks up to become a podcaster at one of your events. That might be a way to create interest, help train people, educate people on how to be better podcasters, and then create a bank or a pipeline of podcasters that you can use and actually have a lot more events on a regional basis around the country. And I've got 4 hands up right now. I'm going to go for the people that haven't talked yet first. So I'm going to do Kelly and then John Rutenberg, and then I'll do Reggie, and then I'll do Ken. So Kelly, you're up.
Hi, I'm Kelly Tribitz. I'm new. This is my first one, so I don't know if you can tell me if I'm on the right track, but I actually wish my partner who's starting a business with me was here on this call, because she actually does a podcast, a very successful podcast. So that would have been more helpful for her to be here today. But whenever you were talking, I just kind of looked through your website and looked through the website of the other organization you were talking about, because my partner actually spoke at the competition. But it struck me that maybe building more community, more content community on your website, like offering like articles or whatever, and then building, asking for comments, kind of building more of a community on your website would then give you a deeper list of people to maybe pull from. So
yeah, good point. And our Facebook group is very active. But that's a good point. It's just like, I know like a lot of Facebook groups out there that have like the guides or resources in the group. And so we can definitely be better about adding that. And yeah, both the Facebook group and the website, definitely.
Okay, next, John.
Thank you, Melinda, and you're doing a great job, because being the moderator on Q&A is always, people are texting, people are raising hands. So Andrew, thank you for being here today. It was awesome. Stay involved and lots of luck. So in your company, what percentage of person power is devoted to this challenge question?
Let's see. I mean, it's a new problem for each event. And yeah, we've done, I want to say 6 events over the last 2 years. So yeah, with each event, we keep figuring out how can we continue to spread the word or bring in the best speakers and content providers.
The reason I ask is that you really have a recruiting function. It's the person who needs to be focused on it probably needs to be more marketing than HR, but the function has elements of both. And so to have the recurring sponsors, which is the ultimate goal, you need to have the right content, which is directed by you guys deciding what are the key topics to be presenting that are going to be most relevant. But you have the recruiting function that needs somebody, perhaps 50% of their time on a regular basis, for you to sustain the flow of recruits, if you will. So whether the function is 100% or 50%, you'll learn, you'll figure it out. But it's an amazing idea. And my suggestion is that you devote the bucks, the budget, if you will, to having that function filled so that you sustain. Because the hardest part is getting talent. Okay, you guys are bright enough to figure out the right topics. It's more so. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank
No,
you.
that's a very good point. Yeah.
Good.
Next, we've got, I'm going to put Adriana next because she's a first timer of asking questions, then Reggie, and then Ken.
Hi, Andrew. A nice, very interesting topic. And I love your challenge question. I thought you could look at Toastmasters. They have a learn how to do a podcast segment. It's one of their, I guess, levels that people try to achieve because they have different avenues. You may look at your local Toastmasters, see who's teaching the podcast class, and perhaps those individuals may be at the quality level that you're looking for. That would be, and they're cheap and they're probably free. So that's always good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Next, we've got Reggie and then Ken.
Yeah, so an additional idea that I had, I think Melinda or Rosemary, I can't remember who mentioned it, but they kind of made me think about having a some kind of pitch competition. So I'm all about like the now person, but I think there's value in finding the next person. So the idea of having different people from different towns. What I'm thinking of is kind of like the Ultimate Fighter, if you're familiar with that sort of concept, where you locate people that want to be the next podcast person and have a great idea, and so they're kind of pitching it to you guys as like, hey, I want to be a part of your platform. I feel like I have a great idea. I'm not professional. I'm just getting started. And so you're giving them training and help to get them to that next level. And then they compete against a group of other people that are trying to do the same thing. And so within your community, you're creating excitement about these new ideas and these new people. And, each week, they sort of go through the tournament, and then, you get to the finals and you're like, these are these two people, you've seen how they've progressed, and the one that wins sort of gets the platform. And so in that way, you've created excitement. You've sort of raised up this homegrown person that's going to be the next person that's on your platform. And I think that with it being a competition, it's something that's drawing people back to watch and to take part. That will be attractive to sponsors. So that's the idea.
Yeah, I love that.
Ken.
Thank you, Melinda. Andrew, part of your question has to do with gathering sponsors. So I'm going to take a slightly different cut on your challenge question. Your description of the value proposition for sponsors was very multi-leveled and somewhat complicated and difficult for me to understand. I'm not the smartest tool, sharpest tool in the box, so I'm not a really good measure, but it's hard to identify what speakers are saying relative to what sponsors are looking for. And so in gathering sponsors, my suggestion is to take a look at how you present that in order to clarify what a sponsor gets in terms of audience. Is a sponsor looking for podcasters? is a sponsor looking for A, B, or C? It was hard for me to pull out of your presentation.
Okay.
I have
Oh.
something that I can add real fast, which reinforces what everybody's been talking about. And what my idea originally was, like copying the format of some of the TV shows that are out in around the country looking for the next singer or whatever it might be. But that said, as I was listening to everything being said, you could pitch your idea to one of the networks to be looking for a podcaster and making a big deal. And that might be the huge thing that you can do that would really build your brand. And it would actually help podcasting as a tactic to get messages out to prospective customers. And that might be something huge that could be a goal, vision that you can work towards.
Yeah, I love that. Getting local radio people on board and helping spread awareness that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it becomes a radio show or something that's, available in your car, that you can listen to or whatever it might be. I'm looking for hands, and where are we with time? We've got about another 5 to 7 minutes of questions. So I can't, I was going to say, I can't believe the group has run out of questions. There's Rosemary. Yay.
Hey, Andrew, a lot of really good questions and comments coming up here. Love the idea of a competition to find the next great podcast teacher. The other thing that you might do, I know you said you've been doing a call for speakers through your Facebook group. I don't know if you're using any other social media platform, but you
Can I call you right back?
could probably go ahead, make a video, and then tag it for podcast. You'll find the right word for this, but people who are really podcast superstars, and get that video circulated either through the group that Reggie mentioned, or find them in LinkedIn. People who are podcast superstars will tag themselves in LinkedIn and then share that video as a recruiting tool through social media. I'd suggest LinkedIn over the B2C ones like TikTok or Twitter or anything, just because I think what you want are professional podcasters, and you'll find them easier on the more B2B sites like that.
Yeah. So just kind of like going back to the, I guess not really competition, just say, have everyone submit their call for speakers through a 1-minute video kind of thing. Gotcha.
Next, I have Jeanette, and then I have John Rutenberg. And then I have John Foster.
Hi, good
Jeanette.
morning, Fairfax family. How are you? First of all, great presentation. I really appreciate your information. But I had a question. I heard you mention a little bit about persons or companies who are persons or companies that may not be quote unquote podcasters. So what do you offer? Say for me, I'm not a podcaster, but I would love to be on a podcast to grow my business organically. What is your offering for a business such as mine?
Yeah, great question. So one of our topics is actually how to get booked on great podcasts. And they'll talk about how do you build a relationship with someone, how do you go about messaging them to prove that you're a good fit. And we have online course creation tracks. We have a sales negotiation track coming up at our upcoming event. So I'd say it depends on what you're specifically looking for. Then you can look through the topics of our event to see what makes the most sense for you.
Could you give me a little bit of, or explain a little bit or elaborate a little bit on what do you mean by what is a good fit? Because someone coming on with no experience, how do you approach them? How do you service them, or do you just cast them out?
Oh, no. So usually people come on to our event because they want to start a podcast. Yes, we do serve that full spectrum. I don't think I mentioned that in the presentation, but we serve that full spectrum of haven't started yet, just started, but not really sure how to get going. And then, of course, the veteran podcasters who've been doing it, but they don't know how to grow and scale and monetize better. So if you don't want to get into podcasting, but you are like, hey, I think this event makes sense to me, then yeah, there are various topics on how do you actually get booked on a show to help spread awareness of your business, or how can you publish a book or create an online course to sell services that way without using a podcast. So it just kind of depends on, going back to who your audience is, and we'll teach you strategies how to get in front of them faster and better.
Thank you.
I have a quick question before John, and it's just, I was writing it in the, it's important. Are podcasters found by the industry and or the topic? So if I wanted to find somebody in a specific area, is there a way to that's available to companies that might want to look for a podcaster to be a speaker at a sales meeting or talk about things? Or if you're in sales, listen to a whole bunch of podcasts that are going to improve your sales skills, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. Those options are definitely available. I'd say it's just a matter of finding great content and then reaching out to the person and say, hey, we'd love to collaborate somehow.
Okay, I'll ask later, but John, the two Johns both have questions and I want to get them in before we go to Danelle for the final question.
So which John would you like to go to first, Melinda?
John, go ahead.
Thank you, John. You again guide us, sir. So Andrew, when I think through the process of your third bullet, and it probably applies to your second bullet, but I think you get that one already. So you start with topics. 6 months from now, you guys believe that topics 1, 2, and 3 are going to be vital and very marketable. Okay. And the people who have the content are in specific industries, perhaps universities, the academic world, the nonprofit world, which is really an industry. And again, so strategic, all of these great ideas that have come in today are the tried and true marketing strategies and actions to generate inbound traffic, if you will, which makes a lot of sense as a way to find people who are interested. But if you engineer from the end, which is the event and the content, and you work backwards, if you know what you're doing in 6 months, that 90 days or 60 days from now, you need to have that person or set of persons lined up for the podcast. So working back to 60 days from now means that you've actively and proactively been searching out these people and have a pipeline, if you will. It's a pure sales function. You have a pipeline of potential, some of whom are going to pop at all times, because every quarter you're running an expo, okay, or whatever is your frequency. And so the use of influencers, for example, may be very, very important. And finding, whether it's internally or externally, the special consultants who work, if you will, in the licensing world, who bring celebrities together with products so that someone famous is advocating. All of those are out there as the more proactive ways of going after the business, because you need the content. More a suggestion than a question.
No, thank you.
Guess I'm up. Hey, Andrew, really appreciate this because it's one of the things I've been thinking about. So So I appreciate that. A lot of what I was going to say has already been said, but like Toastmasters, I think, is potentially a good resource. But I want to go back to the sponsor piece. And I think LinkedIn, because the demographics on LinkedIn, if you're from a sponsorship standpoint, I'd probably just reinforce that point, because your demographics on LinkedIn is where you're going to find, those businesses and, I'll say the people that are going to make decisions about sponsorship. So just throw that out there, but really appreciate what you're doing. Nice job.
Thank you.
Danelle, are you available to ask the last question?
I am available to ask the last question. Andrew, I just want to say congratulations on your success in creating such a magnificent platform for podcasters and those that want to be podcasters. That's huge, and I've never met anyone that's been a part of the Guinness Book of World Records. So I'm glad to meet you personally, virtually, not personally. However, my last question is, what can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
Yeah, we would love help with raising awareness. We always hear the comment that people wish they had heard about PodFest earlier. So if you know anyone else that this event would be a good fit for, and of course, if you know any, to answer Ken's question about sponsors. So, some of our sponsors, they sell podcasting equipment. Some of them, they sell podcasting websites. Some of them, they sell book publishing services. And we do have anywhere from 500 to obviously 5,000 people who come to our events. So it really is a great way to get in front of larger audiences of people who can serve you. And so I'd say, if you know any other sponsors that want to sponsor the event, and then of course, any recommendations for speakers. And then if you want to do next slide, we actually do have an event coming up starting tomorrow. Of course, I'd love if you're able to join in and check us out. You're able to do our free event or our virtual event for free if you'd like. And so I'd love to see you there if possible. And we have an in-person event coming up in Tampa, Florida, if you want to get out of the house. But I'm going to put the link to the event in the chat. And then if you do the code 1MC, you can attend the event for free. And I'd love for you to come check it out. And then
no, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just say, so final thing, if you want to subscribe to our messenger newsletter, hear more things going on in the podcasting community, I'll put that in the chat as well. And I think the final slide just talks about our Facebook group too. So whatever makes the most sense for you.
No, this is great stuff. I actually, just to share with you, I just shared this in my personal group where we have over 650 entrepreneurs in there. And I'm sure over half of them probably have their own podcast. So
perfect.
Any way that I can help, get the word out on this is absolutely great. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you guys want to be cool like Andrew and get your information out there, please go to the number 1millioncups.com/Fairfax to be a presenter. As you saw, the information that we got and gave Andrew today was some great information. And all of this information is 100% free. It doesn't cost you anything but your time, energy, and effort. And if you don't have any of those, we can't help you. Next slide. All right, next week we have Injator as our presenter. Next slide. We have availability coming up on December 22nd and December 29th. If you are looking to get in front of people, let us know. I think we are going to cancel the 22nd. We'll get back with you guys on that one, and probably the 29th as well, since it's so close to New Year's. And so we'll be into, wow, that's crazy. We're almost into 2022, which is, time flies when you're having fun. Thank you guys for, next slide. These are our upcoming events. Do we have anyone from the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce that want to go over these events or talk about some highlighted events on this
Actually,
slide.
Jennifer's not here, but the one I want to highlight is their big party that they're having on Thursday. It's their Halloween Monster Mash event. And actually, our good friend Russ, it's his favorite place where he has had some of his networking meetings. And it's going to be a great event, and I highly, highly recommend that one. That's the Monster Mash.
Nice. That's the only, Halloween is the only time of year that I'm cute, since I always wear my mask. All right, this concludes our presentation. Thank you everyone for coming out and being here with us today. If you want to present, the information is in the upper left-hand corner, the number 1millioncups.com/present. We would love to have you present at an upcoming event. If there's nothing else, I'm going to log us off of Facebook
Can
and stop the recording.
Can I just jump in really,
Yes.
really quickly? Starting with next Wednesday's meeting, we are kicking off a brand new Zoom registration. We want everybody to come back, but it's important that you re-register. We will be shutting down this Zoom link and creating a new one. The registration, I just put in the chat. So please follow that link, save the chat, follow that link right now, register for all the November and December events. Andrew, we'd love you to come back. I know you have events lined up, but if you or others want to join our community, we're happy to have you. We've got some new folks on today. We'd love to see you come back. Some returning folks, good to see. Please make sure that you register for our new link. Again, I just put it in the chat. So that was all I wanted to interrupt you for, Donnell. Sorry about that.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm going to probably be a little, please do me a favor, and I'll walk you guys through this real quick. She put the link in the chat. Please go to that link, click on the link, and register now, please. By doing that, I know that, you know, life gets in front of you, and once you click off of here, you'll forget, and next week you'll try to log in on that other app. And we would love to be able to log into that other app and tell you to go to the other app, the other link, but please save us some time and click that link in the chat and register for next week. That way we don't have to come and find you. I have my bodyguard, Rosemary. She's able to find people. She's good at it. So
Brilliant,
click the
you
link.
guys. Brilliant.
I won't have to send her to go see you. And if not, I have Reggie. He's our backup. He's not as tough as Rosemary. So don't mess with Rosemary and just click the link.
And please share that link with everybody that you think might be interested in coming and who wants to check us out, or, you know, might want to be a speaker one day.
Hey, are we making sure it's in all of our social media and like our Facebook page? Because
Yeah, today is cutover day, John. So
today is cutover day. What a group of organizers. Amazing.
kind of organized.
It's like, so glad you're here doing that. Me and Donnell were out throwing a football all day. That's all we do.
Oh, that's too bad.
Perfect.
Andrew,
yes,
great presentation. Thank you so much. It was great to hear about the business. I loved seeing, to Donnell's point, I've never met a record holder either. So yay Guinness, yay pub beer, and drinking and giving us all an expert to be owners of UBI, useless bits of information in our head. Your Guinness Book of is not a useless bit of information.